everybody. I want to say welcome to another happy Monday. A lot of great things happened over the weekend. I was really excited to take a day where didn't really do anything, and it was tons of fun. Yesterday was one of those days where we woke up and we just kind of decided that today or yesterday was basically going to be a free day. We didn't start the car, we didn't go anywhere, we just kind of hung out. We enjoyed the pretty day. We did some work around the house, we scooped up some leaves, we burned some wood that was hanging out, and just enjoyed the peacefulness of the day. Listened to some older music, some good new music, and it was tons of fun. And it was a way for us just to kind of like just have a day to relax where there wasn't anything involving work or real estate. So I would encourage everybody to kind of take some time to do that. But anyway, that was my yesterday. So today, Monday, we have another flight plan conversation. And I always try to think about things that's a benefit for my personal business, and how can I share some of the things that we're doing at a high level to build our business. And hopefully some of these things would motivate you to build some your own set of systems and processes and things that things that you can do to help you with building your business. Last Thursday night, we met with a good friend who was in town, and he's going to work for a builder. And this builder actually utilizes a written plan for their sales force. And they went back to using the Franklin Covey planners, the Franklin planners. And it had me thinking all weekend about, where am I more efficient? What is the way I am better on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, and even from a monthly perspective? And am I putting down the things that I want to be better at on paper or digital? And I think it's different for everybody. However, the thing that I'm finding to be the most opportunistic for my brain and others is that if I actually write stuff down. There's a guy that was talking recently about the power of education to yourself, from your hand to your brain education. And there is a difference between putting ink to paper or your thumbs to a phone. And if you are actually writing down the things that you need to do, you're more apt to accomplish them versus putting them in a digital deal. Now, this isn't for everybody. I'm just using this as a way for most people that are goal-oriented, where their sense of accomplishments are. Now, you might say, man, I operate beautifully on putting things in a calendar, and I can put them all together on digital. I can open up a form on my computer, and then I can type in the things that I'm really what's really high level of importance, or I can put it down in my checklist on paper. And what I'm finding personally is the more these things are on paper, the more apt I am to accomplish those goals. Now, I've been in a coaching program for a long time, several years. I've had coaches encourage me to things, and I've taken lots and lots of notes. And even recently, I have a running log of the conversations that I've had with my coach, and I found that's great to have. It's great to reflect on it. But if I'm physically writing things down during the call, I accomplish more of the tasks. So this leads me to kind of a performance planner. Now, Brian and I have talked about this several times as well. Are agents putting down their top priority things that they need to accomplish? Are there supporting items to that? There's daily 1-3-5s for a number of things, and we've talked about this as well. Like, if you were to break down your life into 4 quadrants, you've got business, health, family, faith, and if you were to take each of those items and say, well, how do I build this out to where I'm the most successful in each of these areas of my life? And I feel like the performance planner is vital to this. And as I am experiencing today, is my performance planner is very different than it was many years ago. So I've decided to really put 2024 down in a written documentation of kind of what we're doing. And every day I don't necessarily feel that I need to come in and go, okay, here's my daily tasks, although I do have specific things that I want to accomplish. Mine are more focused on the week. What can I get accomplished during the course of the next 5 to 7 days, depends on how much time you want to take off in each of these areas of my life. So I would say, obviously, I spend the majority of my time focused in on my business side of things. So my business priorities are very simple. They're communications. It's all about connecting with people. There's also marketing goals in there. How many eyeballs can I get on the listings that we have? So I've got marketing goals. I have the ability to dial that into how many listings I have, how much money do I want to spend, what's my budget for all those types of things. So business is a high priority with a lot of different variables to what you can accomplish. So I try to think of it from a weekly perspective versus a daily perspective. Again, this is just me. As far as health goes, I'm in a spot today where I'm not overweight. I'm just heavier than I want to be. And I'm at the heaviest I've ever been during the course of my life. So I need to spend more time on daily thought processes of what's a higher priority. So for me, from a health perspective, I want to spend more time getting into physical activities, whether that's walking. I've never been a gym person, so I'm going to eliminate going to a gym and working out because, number one, I don't want to pay the fee. Even if I did pay the fee, I still wouldn't go because that's a time commitment. That's also something that says I'm going to go to the gym every day. And I applaud every one of you guys out there that do that and you're committed to it. I think that's fabulous. It's just not anything that over the course of my lifetime I plugged into a high priority. And here we are at this point in my life, is that some of the simple things that I can do would be engaging in walking activities. Do I want to walk 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening? So these are some things that I'm mentally going through on what can I do every single day to improve my health. Diet is also in there. How many calories am I going to consume today? I've never been a calorie counter. I've never thought about carbs versus sugars, or I just ate whatever I want. So I'm going to spend some time really kind of locking in on how that is a benefit or a challenge for me in my weight goals for my health. So those are the top two things that I have for us right now. Business, what's top goals in business? What are my top goals for my health? Next up is my family. How much time am I dedicated to my family? And these are things that are all kinds of stuff. It could be spending once a week having a meal with everybody. It could be having those types of one-on-one conversations with everybody in your family. I want to spend more time with the one-on-one interactions with folks in my family, and that's actually going to extend beyond just the local father-daughter relationship, father to your other kids, to the husband and wife conversations and those types of things. So those are things I also want to improve on by actually dedicating something that's written down and having those types of goals versus just living life and just kind of flying by the seat of your pants on that. The last thing is faith. I'm a very faithful individual. I love the fact that I'm a believer. I lean on my relationship with God in multiple conversations throughout the day. However, there's one thing that I haven't been very specific about, and that's getting back to my dedicated time reading a daily devotional of stuff. I've gotten away from all that. There's lots of times in the past where I've been very good at it for an extended period of time, and for whatever reason something falls off. So I am now handwriting that down in my performance planner goals. So every week I want to spend more time in a devotional, more time just having that moment of quiet. And for me, I'd like to have at least 30 minutes a day where I can plug into something. It's totally quiet, no noise, no anything going on, and I just want to be quiet. Awake, obviously, I don't want to be sleeping, but I want to have that time to be able to just really think about all of the things that are important. And that can include the relationship with God. It can be the relationship questions that says, hey God, how can I be better at business? Hey God, how can I be better at my family? And hey God, please help me in my journey on my health. There's a reason why we lean on our faith in these times, is because God can help us through all of this, and He can benefit the most important aspects of our life. So I think if you were to really barrel this down, like, okay, I have this performance plan in my head. I want to put it on paper. I want to make sure that I'm reviewing this daily. Now, if you've got weekly goals, what's the reflection? It might be once a week you spend an hour really working on it and reflecting on what you actually accomplished. Now, I think if you're going to spend daily time things, are these in your calendar? Are these things at least time blocked so that you can accomplish these items? It's important for the planning of your day. It's important for the planning of your business, the planning of your personal life, your health, and also obviously your faith. So we've created, I have looking through all of my old stuff online, there's a lot of things where I found that are done in a lot of different ways. You can do a digital type checklist, but I'm actually going to print mine out. I'm going to put them in a little book, and I'll show you my book next week. And I'm going to start writing them down, because at the end of the day, I'd like to have a 3-ring binder of all of my sheets. I've got the balance of February, and then March. I turned 60, so what does this look like for the balance of 2024, where I can reflect on each of these items, and did I accomplish them, and where did I end up placing the highest level of importance out of those 4 items in my life? I feel like in the past I've always put a higher balance towards work. Maybe I need to put a higher emphasis on the faith side of things. And if I did that, would all the other 3 become more exciting? Would they become more available? Would God put those as to be accomplished at a higher level? So we'll see how that works out. But the performance side of things has to happen. It has to get started and generated from you. It has to get to a spot where you're actually writing it down. And I feel like writing it down on paper is a higher priority, or a higher opportunity for you to accomplish them, versus just putting some number in a book or on your phone or on your desktop. So creating the written thing, super, super important. In having these conversations with some of the other agents and other friends and other family members and other people that I've known through church and stuff, it always seems to come back that the folks that are writing things down, whether it's the daily checklist, it seems like their tasks are getting accomplished at a higher level versus the ones that are just online, because if they're on a computer or on your phone, they're often forgotten about. And thinking through all this, kind of an example that I had, I was recently talking with a potential buyer, and we were on the phone, and it was an internet lead that kind of came in on some of the marketing that we've done in the past. And during the course of that initial consultation, I was writing everything down. And it was interesting how after the conversation and having written down his phone number and his email, that almost embedded in my brain, and I remembered it. There's been times where I've actually been on the phone with somebody and thought, well, you know what, I want to make sure that everything is in my CRM. So as I'm having these conversations, hey, do I have the correct phone number? Do I have the correct email? And you're converting all that. As soon as that's over, I still couldn't recall the number that I had typed into the computer is verifying it, and the email address. Something about writing things down that I found to be super, super elevated in the memory side of things. And I used to have a great memory with numbers. I mean, I knew people's phone numbers left and right, because I had to physically punch the number into a phone or I dial it. I'm an old guy, I had to use dials back in the day, but I knew people's telephone numbers. And then as the opportunity to store things, now you just look up somebody's name and then you hit a button and it dials a number. And I guarantee you, most of the people that are important in your world, you probably don't even know their cell phone numbers. You might if you've had to say it and repeat it several times, but typically I would challenge you to you probably won't know that. But I used to know all that stuff. I used to be a numbers guy, and all of a sudden I'm getting away from it. So I want to start writing all that stuff down. And not that I want to write every person's name down on paper to memorize their phone numbers, because I don't know that that's necessary. However, if I am working with somebody new, I do want to write their name. I want to write their number. I want to write their email address, because that will help me memorize those things at a higher level. And it will also embed their importance of that individual into the level of where I want them to be in the number of contacts and how I want to reach out to them, and especially as a particular new client. So they become a high priority, obviously. So Part of all this is just writing it down. I'll give you a couple of ideas that you can have from your business side of things. Number of contacts. You can have daily drives to number of contacts, number of appointments, number of social media messages. All these things are super important. Have those as daily tasks, and are you getting those things done? Give yourself a scoreboard. Make sure if you get so many points for accomplishing those things, and break it down to a yes or no. Did you accomplish your goals? Yes, great. If not, what kept you from it? That's the second part of all this that I think is super important. Where were the